Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murder of Tyrone Dwayne Golden. Golden was shot and killed on Tuesday, March 31st, 2015, in the 10,000 block of Budlong Avenue in the Westmont neighborhood of South LA, according to LA County coroner records. Kentoya Mitchell, James Williams, and Walter Morris Jones were subsequently arrested and charged with the murder. The following is the evidence at trial. Defendants Walter Jones and James Williams were jointly tried for the murder of victim Tyrone Golden. The prosecution's theory was that Jones was the shooter and Williams was the getaway driver, and the murder was in retaliation for the murder of a fellow gang member. The fellow gang member was Cleveland Ross, known as Red Bang. On March 12, 2015, Ross was shot and killed at an AutoZone on Hoover and Century. Members of the underground Crips were arrested in connection with Ross's murder. Just weeks after Ross was killed, victim Golden was killed on the morning of March 31st, 2015. The morning the victim was murdered, gunshots awoke Mr. Rosales, who was at home in the general area of the 10,000 block of South Budlong Avenue in LA. Looking out of his window, he saw the victim on the ground. Mr. Rosales also saw a man wearing jeans and a gray hoodie running to a white van with paper license plates. The man left in the van, although the witness could not tell whether he entered through the front or rear passenger door. Paramedics arrived at 8:40 a.m. and determined that the victim, who had been shot in the back of the head, was dead. 4 9mm casings fired from one gun were recovered from the crime scene. The same day the victim was murdered, Deputy Sheriff Nicholas Adragna was investigating an unrelated crime. While visiting the location related to that crime, Deputy Adragna saw the van involved in the victim's murder parked in the spot assigned to an apartment in the 800 block of West 101st Street. Officers searched the van and found live ammunition, including 9mm, a credit card belonging to Latasha, a cell phone, and a gun. The gun found in the van, however, was not the one used to kill the victim. The van was registered to Kentoya Mitchell, who was defendant Williams' girlfriend. Email account ratneckw@gmail.com was associated with the cell phone found in the van, and a video of defendant Williams was extracted from the phone. Latasha was the girlfriend of Clevin Stringer, who sometimes lived in the 800 block of West 101st Street. Defendant Jones's palm print was on a piece of paper recovered from the van. 2 of the prints from the van were inconclusive as to defendants Jones and Williams. The parties stipulated that the Hoover Criminals is a criminal street gang. Its territory encompasses an area west of the 110 freeway and extends north and south. A gang expert testified that Hoover Criminals has 9 sets, including the 107s and 11 Deuce. Hoover Criminals' main rival include the 10 Deuce Budlong Gangsta Crips and Underground Crips. The gang expert believed the victim was a member of the 10 Deuce Budlong Gangsta Crips set of the Rolling Hundreds. The gang expert also knew defendant Jones, who had identified himself as an 11 Deuce Hoover gang member with the moniker of Little No Good. Several months after the victim's murder, Detective Eric Shear arrested Stringer on drug charges unrelated to this case. In the course of talking to Stringer, the detective learned that Stringer might have information about the victim's murder and relayed that information to Detective Michael Rodriguez, the officer investigating the victim's murder. Detective Rodriguez interviewed Stringer, who was in custody on the drug charges. That recorded interview was played for the jury. Stringer was from the 107 set of the Hoover gang with the moniker of Monster. Stringer said he used to stay in the 800 block of West 101st Street and his family still lived there. Stringer then told the detective that one morning at about 10 or 11 a.m., No Good came to the house to buy drugs. No Good said that he, quote, got me one. I just got a 10 Deuce Budlong. No Good explained that earlier that morning, he and Ratneck were driving around trying to retaliate against the guy who killed Red Bang. They drove by 102nd in Normandy and saw an old guy walking, so they asked where he was from. When the man said he was from 10 Deuce Budlong, No Good, quote, hopped out the van, pop, 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 and hopped back in the car and drove off, parked the car in the store, and came over to my house bragging about having just killed the man. No Good said that Ratneck was the driver. Stringer clarified No Good was from 11 Deuce Hoover and was a trigger. No Good stashed the gun in a tire in the alley at the back of Stringer's house. They put ammunition in the van. When they saw cops pulling up outside Stringer's house, they escaped through the back. At the interview's outset, Detective Rodriguez told Stringer he was not in position to make promises. Rather, what I do is I take my information, I verify the information, and then I go to somebody at the district attorney's office and I say this is what I have. Can I put in a recommendation? Absolutely, but I am not the person that decides that. In fact, after Stringer testified at the preliminary hearing, Detective Rodriguez enrolled Stringer in a witness relocation program, and over a several months period gave Stringer $5,760 in cash for housing and food. Agent Michael Easter, an expert in cell site analysis, reviewed cell phone records for numbers associated with defendants Williams and Jones. Around the time the victim was killed, the cell phones were in the general area of the crime scene. Kentoya Mitchell, defendant Williams' girlfriend, was also tried with defendants Williams and Jones, but during trial, she pleaded guilty to being an accessory after the fact. Following the trial, the jury found defendant Jones guilty of first-degree murder, including gun and gang allegations. On September 2, 2020, the court sentenced Jones to 25 years to life, doubled to 50 years to life based on the prior strike, plus 25 years to life for the gun enhancement. The jury acquitted Williams of first and second-degree murder. Tyrone Dwayne Golden was 47 years old at the time of death.